This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ, 1360 AM, and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1380 AM on San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM and Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. All right, Houston, you have me, Gilbert Garcia, with another tip from me. Talk, inspiration, and prayer. Thank you, studio audience. And we have a really good show. And I want to, first of all, introduce you to a dear friend of mine because I've known her and she is just wonderful. And I think you're going to get that feeling from her as you talk to her and hear her on the radio here. And so please, everyone, Houston, meet Gloria Zenteno. Gloria, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And, I wanted to say that, your family is kind of like East End royalty. You know what I mean? I mean, really, your family's so well known. We're going to talk a little bit about what you're doing because what you're doing is so necessary. When you founded, president, the whole 9 yards of Barrio dogs.
Yes.
But before we do that, tell me about your family, because your family, of course, everyone knows your family because it seems like everybody's a musician, but you. Are you a musician too? You're not, right? You're the only one that wasn't a musician.
No, I'm married into the family.
There you go. So, that's right, of course.
Yes,
of course.
yes.
But somehow, it just blends, right?
Yes.
Excuse me. And so, of course, your husband, Javier, I mean, he's like a super great musician, but it really goes back to your father, right?
Right.
Your father was well known because he had like one arm, and he was probably one of the most skilled trumpet players, period.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
In the universe.
Yes. So he's Roberto Centeno.
Yes.
He's a one-armed trumpet player from.
Come a little closer to the mic. Okay, go ahead.
So Roberto Centeno, he was a one-armed trumpet player from Mexico. He had a 16-piece orchestra. People used to say that he was like Ricky Ricardo, but he just didn't have the television show.
Yeah.
Right? But then he raised the family, all the brothers and one sister, Norma, who ended up being a star herself, to be musicians. And in the 80s, there was an article in the Houston Chronicle that said there were the Osmonds and the Jacksons, but there's also the Centeno.
Oh, how wonderful. Yeah. He reminds me, I was going to say more like Chuck Mangione. Remember, Chuck was the trumpet player.
Yeah.
But let me go back to something because how many brothers and sisters, how many brothers are there?
So there's 4 brothers.
And they're all in the music business?
All of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I just know Javier.
Yeah.
I did not know they all are.
Yeah.
How wonderful. And of course, Norma, everybody loves. We still love Norma Zenteno because, first of all, she was a fantastic singer.
Singer, songwriter, composer, arranger.
She was beautiful.
Gorgeous.
She was fun. I mean, if you were stranded on a desert island, you'd want to be stranded with her because it'd be like a barrel of laughs.
No kidding.
I mean, she was always doing something, and I remember her vividly. She would play a lot at Zambuca's, but I've seen her in many different places. Of course, she passed. How long has it been now?
It's been February 22nd was 11 years.
It's hard to believe it's been 11 years.
Yes.
I can't believe it.
Yes.
And, we all still talk about her like it was yesterday.
I know.
I know. And she has that wonderful thing, that, what's the right word? Statue. Tell us about the statue about her, where she's like sitting on a bench or something. It's like a beautiful bronze statue. Tell us all about that.
Playing a guitar. Yeah, we owe her so much because she actually helped us, her name and her band, jumpstart the organization and really get us out there. So we just feel like we owe her so much and we want people to remember her. So the family got together. We did a project to raise funds for a beautiful bronze sculpture. And we incorporated it with not only Norma sitting on a beautiful bench strumming her guitar, but there's also a Barrio dog with her.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason we included a Barrio dog is because she was really instrumental. Again, I owe her a lot for helping us get the word out. But the Barrio dog, there was some symbolic relationship because she unfortunately died from breast cancer. And then Kippy, the dog that's included with her, was also passed away from cancer.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And so tell me again, because I know I've been there, I've seen it, I've got pictures with it. Where is it located again?
So it's currently at the Center for Pursuit at 4400 Harrisburg. It's
Okay.
in a beautiful green space. I mean, anybody.
That's right. It's beautiful.
It's open
When you
and-
say currently, does that mean it's more mobile?
No, it's not mobile, but there is talk about moving her again. Not that the Center for Pursuit has been beautiful, gracious, but we are thinking about another place, maybe along the Esplanade. I don't know. There's talks about that. So
Wow.
more to come on that.
Oh, good. Well, we want to know.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds like mine and all of Houston want to know.
Yes.
Let's go to the Barrio dogs because, one of the issues, everybody knows I ran for mayor. One of the issues that was a big issue was, number one,
Still is.
well, stray dogs, number one. But number two is the whole bark, the whole scene of the, I don't know if it's the right word, but animal shelters and what can we do differently or better? How are they managed? All of those things. And the beautiful thing is you can always complain, but you're doing something about it. And you've been doing something about it. It's been more than 10 years now, right?
We're getting ready to celebrate our 15th anniversary.
15 years?
15 years.
Wow. Well, going back, so first of all, outline the issue for us, not about your dogs, but first the issue. I had Councilman Castillo here the other day, and we talked about stray dogs.
Good.
And we talked a lot about it, and he had mentioned about a woman that was mauled to death. I don't know the right word, but by a stray dog.
Yes.
That's horrifying.
Horrible.
I mean, I can't even imagine that. And you wonder, that's the equivalent of saying there's just a murderer on the loose.
Right.
Well, these stray dogs are on the loose.
I know.
How big of a problem is it? What do you really hear out there in the trenches?
In the animal welfare community
Okay.
in the city of Houston, it's a crisis. It's terrible. I mean, there's probably so many bite cases that are even unreported. I know when in the very beginning of working with Councilmember Gallegos, when he first came into office, he had a woman that was murdered as well.
No kidding.
Yes. Yes. It's a huge problem.
And what's the origin of it? I mean, it's not just, well, someone can't afford their animal and they just go dump them at a park. I mean, or is it that simple? Like, what's the origin? And then, of course, like other animals, they breed, et cetera. So what's really the origin? And is it really, obviously, it's not happening in River Oaks, right?
No.
Why is it always our communities where these social ills are there and somehow neglected or something? Give us some background.
So I think it's financially, economically, lack of access. People will get animals and don't realize the huge responsibility, and then
They're like children. They're like kids.
yes,
You got to
yes.
take care of them. You got to eat them, feed them every day,
Exactly.
walk them. They got to go to the bathroom. You
Ex-
got to take them out of the bathroom. I mean, all those things.
And so this happens in huge amounts, and then what happens is these dogs form packs, and then they just get into survival mode. I mean, basically that's what they do, and it's not really their fault, but unfortunately, because they're on the streets, they're again trying to survive for food. They're hungry, and then when they get in that pack mentality, they'll do anything really for food. And I think that's how they get aggressive. Sometimes people will be walking and they might have food or the smell. I'm not sure. It's scary out there, and that's why people in our community walk with sticks. You see in our community everywhere people walking with
That's
sticks.
terrible.
It's horrible.
That's essentially saying it's a problem,
Yes.
and we just are not going to be able to do anything about it. So you just got to live with it.
No,
That's terrible.
but that's not my mentality. We need to do something
That's
about
right.
it. We need to be more vocal.
Well, going back for a second, have you seen a pack of stray dogs before yourself?
Oh yes.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, it's got to be like heartbreaking because they're living creatures and all. But yet, you're right. You do what you got to do to survive,
Right.
whether you're a dog or any other animal or whether you're a human being. You got to survive. It's all about finding food.
Yeah, and the other contributor is there's probably people out there, these underground dog fighting rings, and then they let the dogs loose. They're no use of them anymore. They're not making any more money, and then that happens too, where humans are actually teaching them to be aggressive.
Oh my goodness, how terrible!
It's out there.
How are there? Is that like you hear about it? And I remember one of the football players went to jail for it a while back. Is it that happening, these dog fights?
Oh yes.
Really?
Cockfighting, all of that. Yeah, there's a lot of that happens still in our city.
Wow. And they just if and now Houston knows because they're listening, do the police know?
So
they have to know.
Well, we're not law enforcement, but we certainly report. And when we hear of things, we hear from the community a lot. So we work with Harris County Animal Task Force, SPCA has animal cruelty officers. It's the sad reality. It's out there. Believe me.
And how come people don't just 911 call in, go bust them, like Crime Stoppers of animals?
Well, like I mentioned, underground, so they keep it very private. It's hard to solve those crimes, but people need to be visual and say things. A lot of people don't want to get involved. They don't want to say things out of being fearful of their own lives.
Wow. Well, let's go back for something. So for someone like me that doesn't really know, and maybe Houston knows, but I don't, which is, what's the difference between, sort of these different animal control things? There's bark, and that's the city, but the county has something too.
Right.
And you just give us that, what do you call the right word? I don't want to say things for dummies, but you know what I mean? Like those books, those yellow books about internet for dummies. Well, sort of like how the animal shelter stuff works for dummies. How do we, what all is there, and how do you access it?
Right. So you're right. I'm glad you brought it up.
There's the county, there's the city.
Right. So a lot of people don't know that BARK is our city shelter.
And there's only one?
There's only one city shelter. And then Harris County is our county shelter. So when there's animals on the streets or in the county area, or if there's an issue with an animal strays, you're to report it to them. Unfortunately,
to the county,
depending on where you live.
Okay.
So say you live in the rural county area, then
the unincorporated parts.
You would report to the county. So I live in the city. So if I, packs of dogs or dogs fighting, I would report that to our city shelters. Unfortunately, the county and the city have been struggling for years. This has been going on since Anise Parker, as long as I can remember that I've been. Because
of funding, you mean?
Funding. All goes down to funding. There's not enough animal cruelty investigators. There's not enough room to take. Sometimes they have intake holds where they can't take in animals. It's really a sad state of affairs. This has been going on for a long time.
You mean it's so crowded they can't take anymore?
No, or they'll have to euthanize. And they do. I mean, that's what a lot of people don't know. And it's not BARK's fault. It's not the county's fault. But the bottom line is they don't have enough room. So when they're over capacity, they have to euthanize.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Look, I mean, this is a crazy stat, but how many are euthanized a month? Do we know?
So the city and the county, because it's a public entity, they have to share those numbers. So do you recall or no? But
is it an alarming number?
It's alarming.
Like I'm going to go, wow, that's so, I guess part of it is you want to say that's so cruel, but then on the other hand, what's the other solution?
Right.
Hold that thought. We have a caller already. Is there a Judith there?
Hey, Gilbert, it's Judy. How are you guys doing?
Judy, you got me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip for me, with Miss Gloria Zenteno. What do you got for us?
I wanted to first of all thank Gloria because she came out with her organization last year and helped our puppy that was actually. She got run over and her surgery was going to cost a lot of money. And since Umbo is part of Harris County, Gloria came out with her organization. And this puppy has been a healing dog for my daughter that was victim of abuse. So she came up and helped us with donations to make sure that puppy was well taken care of and the surgery, was well. So she doesn't just serve Houston, she serves Humble. And I would love, as I'm doing my campaign, I would love her organization to come out to schools in Humble as well. Because I've seen her doing a lot of things, in the city of Houston. But, we would love to have, her organization come out to the schools in Humble, because there are puppies out there that serve as healing pets for kids who have traumas in their life. And that will be a great resource. One of my focuses on my campaign is mental health and how to support. We've been having a lot of issues in Humble ISD with bullying, behavioral problems, and addressing those issues is tremendous. It's a tremendous thing. There's not a resource. They had a whole about 2 weeks ago. They had a convention about mental health, and there were 100 tables out there, but they invite those people to those conventions. And my question is, as I'm doing these forums on every weekday, candidate forums, I question myself, and I say, if you have these people out there, why can't they come to the schools and service a day and help our students? We have counselors that are overworked, and there's not, when we used to go to school, we were able to talk about our problems with our counselors, and these counselors are so busy working on schedule changes, and there's not resources out there for the mental health that is needed in the Humble ISD student population, and we see a lot of need for that. So first of all, I do want to thank Gloria for doing that, and I would love to reach out to her later to see how we can work together and provide those resources that she has for the Humble ISD student population. We have a lot of forums coming up. So if you live in Harris County, if you want to come and support, we started block walking with Harris County as well, Democrats, and they're coming out every weekend to help support not just my campaign, but two others as well that we are running to better represent our community here. Early voting is April 22nd, and election day is May 3rd. You can still come out and support our candidacy.
All right, hold that thought. I want to unpack some of that. First of all, Gloria, what's this concept of, first of all, prayers to you and your daughter, and I'm happy to hear that she's doing well. And, so I just wanted to hug you on the phone. Going back, Gloria, this concept of dogs as, I don't know, what
Therapy
was it?
dogs.
Therapy dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So thank you, Judith. I appreciate so much the feedback and positive feedback. So we have a Youth and Pause program. That's our core work, actually. Again, people think that we're a rescue group, but we focus on pet education in schools, spay and neuter initiatives to address the animal overpopulation, and the advocacy that we kind of touched on earlier. But our Youth and Pause program, we always take a therapy dog, a dog that has been a former street dog, but has been rehabbed back. And then we take them into the schools and educate the children about loving your pet and that pets are family. And it's just a natural, I'm sure Judith can relate. It's just a good feeling for these children to have that. And Judith, we primarily focus in the Houston area, but we're branching out. So certainly reach out to me. Definitely reach out.
And let me ask you this, Judith, when you see these dogs sometimes at the airport where it says service animal and so forth, what does that really mean? Are they, like for your puppy, are they trained differently? I mean, what does that really mean? So
it's a
go ahead, Judith.
Yeah, I think Gloria could speak a little bit more about it, but it's a requirement that you have to, and it's very easy. You do it online, and you just register your puppy as.
You have to make sure that for us, we work with a behaviorist, and we make sure that our dogs are temperament tested, and the ones that go out to the schools, because you got to get the right ones, right? And they don't go through a certification, but we just make sure they're temperament tested, and of course they're vaccinated, spayed or neutered, and have all their necessary bedding.
Wonderful. Well, Judith, let me ask you this: is the stray dog issue a big issue there in Humble?
It is a big issue, and also bringing these therapy dogs to the schools. I can tell you this: I only saw it when it was COVID, and I saw it maybe once or twice because mental health started being an issue when COVID hit. But it's still an issue, not just because we're past COVID or we've overcome the dangers of it. I believe there should still be support for students with mental health problems, and there's not a social worker on campus on an everyday basis, and it's much needed, and one of my reasons for campaigning is because of the mental health that I suffer, that my daughter suffer. I see the needs that are needed in the humble ISD students, and how we can address behavior issues with support and from out, just like Gloria's company. We need those resources, and bringing them to these students will help tremendously decrease. We can decrease behavior problems, bullying problems. Many things can be addressed. Well, we cooperate together and bring resources to our school.
Well, amen. Real quick, because I got another caller already. Just give us what's your website and all that. Just I want everybody to know.
It's judy4humbleisd.com. I'm running for position 5. In 100 years, there's never been a Latino or an educator on the school board.
That's unbelievable. Keep going. I just can't believe it.
Early voting is April 22nd. You must live in Humble, to vote. If you know any family and friends, please spread the word. And we have a lot of forums coming up, so we have one this Saturday with Lake Houston Civic Engagement. And you can meet all the candidates there and ask us questions. So, yeah. Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you for calling in, and keep doing the hard work there. You're doing the Lord's work.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judith. We have another caller already. I'm going to quickly go to Jordan real quick, and then we're going to come back to our topic. Was there a Jordan I thought I saw on your board there, Miss Producer? Jordan, are you there? Jordan. Jordan. Okay, she'll probably come right back.
She's there.
Oh, she's there? Jordan, are you there?
Yes.
You got me. A tip from me, Gilbert Garcia with Gloria Zenteno, and we're talking a little bit about her incredible family, and we're talking about Barrio Dogs, which of course does so many things for pets and so forth in the community. And so what do you got for her or for me?
Yes. It was for Miss Gloria. I had a question. What inspired her to start or get involved with Barrio Dogs in Houston? And if she's had any success stories, because I know there's a lot of bad stories, but any successes from it.
Oh,
that's such a great one.
Yeah.
So what was the beginning?
So the very beginning, I was born and raised in the East End. My family goes back almost 100 years in Second War.
Wow.
Yes, 100 years. So my husband and we moved back to the community about 20 plus years ago, and I was horrified with the amount of stray dogs, dogs on chains, pregnant mamas, dead animals in the street. And I would drive to my really great job at that time in the Galleria, only 10 or 15 minutes away, and see a totally different life over there.
Mhm.
People walking their animals on leashes, and they're healthy and they're happy, and people are drinking Starbucks. And then I'd come back to my community and see these tragedies every day. And I said, we have got to do something. I was dug in. We were invested. My family lived in the neighborhood. And so that's how it started. I got involved with some of the rescue groups, but I realized early on that was, although noble, admired work, it was kind of a Band-Aid approach. And I felt like I really wanted to get to the root causes through pet education, spay and neuter, and advocacy. So those are really our 3 core works. And I would say the most successful stories are in the schools. I still see people, we do pre-K, elementary. We will do some middle school and high school, but we really focus on the pre-K and elementary. And the success stories for me is seeing that high school student or college student later that says to me, I remember when Barrio Dogs came to my school and y'all talked to us about this, or you brought Otis the No More Chains dog. That is huge for me, huge. And I feel like investing in our future is going to be key.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
So Jordan, you tell us, do you have a pet?
Yes, I do. I actually I had 2 pets, but actually recently, about a month ago, one of my dogs, she was kind of a runner. So anytime we would open the door, she would kind of like spaz out. And this one day recently, she had ran out, and unfortunately the area where we live in, there's a lot of fast cars that drive.
Oh no.
She did get hit and she did pass away, but thank God that her body was like so nice, and the person who I guess hit her accidentally, like they carried her and they put her to the side so she wasn't ran over or anything. But I do think the whole the whole importance of the Barrio dogs is so key to our community, especially in Houston. There's so many spay dogs and or stray dogs, sorry. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome story from her.
Well, Jordan, thank you for calling in and calling again. So, Gloria, let me come back to you then. So, when you talk about spayed and neutering, remind me which one is cats and which one is dogs, or is it male, female?
So it's male, female.
Male, female.
So
Okay.
a female is spayed and a male is neutered.
And y'all, do you raise money to do that, or do y'all have vets on premises? Or I mean, how are you helping in that regard?
Yeah. So we have to raise all the money that we do for.
So you're a
all of our-
501c3.
That's correct.
And give it real quick before we all forget. What's your website and all that kind of thing? And if you have an event coming up or something, let's say it.
Oh, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go.
Our website, we're all over social media, and our website is barriodogs.org. It's BARRIODOGS.org. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, you name it, next door. We have an upcoming event. It's our 15th anniversary.
I can't believe it's 15 years.
I know.
But keep going.
It's our 15th anniversary. It's this Sunday, March 23rd.
Oh, this Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we're still looking for sponsors.
Good.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested in being a
and
sponsor.
tell us where's it going to be and all that kind of stuff.
So it's Sunday, March 23rd. It's going to be at Bohemio's 708 Telephone Road. It's in the East End. It's an East End staple. It kicks off with a Pedal for Paws ride if you're interested in a bike ride. And the tour takes you all over this part of East End. And there's so many hidden gems in the East End. If you don't know about the East End, it's the birthplace of Houston, and it's really a beautiful community. So it's a great way to see the community with the bike ride.
So let's start there. So it's a bike ride. So do you have a dog on a chain? I mean, is your dog with you, or you're just riding your bike?
So these are humans on bicycles.
Okay, these are humans on bicycles. Okay, I just want to be clear.
But we have had people that bring the carts, the addition of like with the children. Yeah. So we've had them.
The carry-on.
Yes, we've had them with the pets
Wow.
too. But afterwards, there's the big celebration, and it's 12 to 5, where we're going to have music and raffles and live music. The Zenteno Spirit, my family will be playing.
Oh, how wonderful!
I know, you have to be there.
I'm going to go.
Okay.
You know what? We're going to give you. My firm and I are going to give you $1,000. Yeah. Look at that. Come on, let's go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So anybody else that wants to be a sponsor, there's plenty of time.
So 12 to 1. What time?
12 to 5.
And the family's going to play.
They're going to play
and go through the whole thing.
Yes. So,
is there going to be food? Is there stuff?
So once the Pedal for Paws ride is done, that's like from 10 to noon. Then people stay after, or people come and don't do the ride. And there is food, raffles. What's the most fun part I forgot to mention is it's 15 years. So it's a quinceañera theme.
Oh, how wonderful.
Quinceañera theme. So there's going to be contests. There's going to be a pet contest, dress up your pet in a costume, a duo contest, human and pet, and then most original. And so we'll be giving away prizes. And you mentioned veterinarians earlier. We're actually honoring 2 veterinarians for their work that they've done with us in partnership with, all the spay, neuter, vaccination, microchip vet services that we do in the community.
Oh, how great. Is there going to be some sort of auction or something like that?
We'll have raffles.
Raffles?
Yeah. And we're going to give away some great stuff. Raffles. You can be part of the raffles. So that's another way to raise money. We also have this thing called the Barrio Boutique that we just started. It's kind of a pop-up resale shop. We ask for people to donate gently used or designer items, and it's kind of like a sustainability, reusing, repurposing, but it's a great cause. You're giving money back to the organization.
Is it stuff related to animals?
Yes.
Or like
that or human clothing. The ladies' clothing seems to be the big hit.
There you go. What a surprise. Let's go back for a second because you were educating us.
Okay.
Bark versus the county.
Yes.
And when it's over capacity, they're having to euthanize. Is it that we just need a whole nother center? Is that really what's needed? Or is there a way that they could coordinate better? Are they coordinating now? Can we coordinate better? What are some of your thoughts?
So currently the city shelter and the county shelter aren't working together, but I hear
You're saying are not.
I mean, because they have to focus on their area.
Yeah. I understand. That's not a criticism. It's just sort of like anything else. You got these, I don't want to say bureaucracies, but you got these entities they're looking after their entities. But the key is if you can find a way for them to work together, 1 + 1 = 3.
Right.
But keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay. So there is talks about them working together more, but I haven't heard about more on that yet. So those are the city and the county shelters. The bigger shelters, so people are aware, is the Houston Humane Society, but they're a 501(c), just like Barrio Dogs, but they have a shelter.
Oh, they do.
SPCA,
And they have a shelter also?
they have a shelter.
So
and
there's really more shelters than just Bark and the county.
right. But and there's also CAP, Citizens for Animal Protection. That's I-10 and Katy. Those are the 3 big tier shelters. But the bottom line is even they are over capacity.
Wow.
Everybody's over capacity. The rescue groups are over capacity. The streets are flowing with stray animals. And so Bark, our city shelter, it's really not their fault. They're underfunded. They need more animal control officers. They need more program work to address spay and neuter. But that all comes back to money.
Mm-hmm.
So I know former mayors have done their best. I will say that John Whitmire has said that he is working on something, but we've not heard yet. So we're anticipating something hopeful.
Come on, Mayor. We need some help. Come on, Mayor. Let's go.
Whitmire,
Let's go.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, we know that there's a lot of issues going on in the city, especially with financials.
Mhm.
There's the city doesn't, and the mayor said the city's broke. So I don't have to say he said it. Of course, I said it when I was on the campaign trail. But the key is we need the help. So let's go back for a second. So I guess I didn't realize there are these other 3 that also are shelters.
Yes.
Now, is there such a thing when you're growing up, you see in the old movies about, there's get the dog catcher and there's someone driving around with a net. That's not really what it is, right?
Well, they used to be called the dog catcher. They're now called animal control officers. And we still need them. There are issues in the streets that happen all the time. And so, but again, we have a huge shortage of animal control officers. We don't have enough for our city of Houston. We need way more.
So how many how many dogs or cats do you do? Is it just?
We do cats too.
Okay.
So when we
Okay.
do our big spay and neuter initiatives, if there's 3 cats and a dog, we do the whole family.
And let me ask you this. So how many do y'all do in a year?
So this past year we did nearly 700 spays and neuters for just in 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 2 a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And y'all fund the whole thing.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Our veterinarians, I mean, they're private veterinarians. They have to run a business.
Right.
They have payroll. I will say that some of them will try to work with us and the best they can. Like when we do our big spay and neuter events where we're going to have, 200 or 300 come in. We have veterinarians that will try to work with their pharmaceutical reps and try to get some things donated. But for the most part, we raise the money.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you that. This is a silly question, but how long is a procedure?
So they come in the morning.
The animal does,
The
or you
animal.
mean the doctor does?
Well, the dog does. The dog gets dropped
Okay.
off that morning
At the vet.
at the vet, and then the procedure happens. The procedure is probably only 45 minutes to an hour, but it's the recovery because they have to do anesthesia.
Yeah.
But it's not a very invasive surgery procedure, and in the long run, no more animals,
Yes.
less animals, and now there's proven studies that spay and neuter is very healthy. It prevents a lot of cancers. And
No kidding.
yes.
And so 700 sounds like so many
Yeah.
because that's 2 a day.
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so how many vets, is there such a thing as, I don't know, I'm just picking up the City Veteran Society of Houston? I mean, is there like a vet group that is there advocacy group of veterinarians? Is there such a thing?
No.
So you just have to go to individual doctors and
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
would you help us out and be part of our thing?
Can we have an account with you? I mean,
Yeah.
basically we partner with a local veterinarian and we try to work with local so that eventually, like once we do the spay neuter vaccination microchip, then the family has that partnership with the veterinarian and they can continue to keep going.
Go
there.
back to you just said an important word, microchip. What does that mean?
Oh, that's
Yeah. What does that mean?
So microchipping is an ID and a way to find, if your pet is lost, a way to reconnect with your family.
Wow.
And that just became a mandatory microchip with the city of Houston. That happened 2 years ago.
So what does that mean? The city requires you to put a microchip in your dog, or
Yes.
I don't know if I have that in my dog.
Well, you need to.
I mean, yes. Where do they put it?
At the city of your veterinarian will be able to do it, and it's usually in the back of the neck.
No kidding. And how is it, like a little bitty?
It's a tiny little. They put it in with a with a needle.
Yep.
It's very non-invasive.
Yep. And how do you, is it something that you can get like a Find My Dog app, and there he is, I can see him, and like, where are you?
So they have microchip scanners. So if your dog is lost, you can go to any veterinarian and they'll scan. We actually purchased some microchip scanners because we see so many strays, or if we picked up a stray, we try to rule that out and see if it has a chip. And the reason that the city of Houston made it mandatory is that we're bringing all these dogs in off the streets, and they were having a terrible time tracking down their owners. So this is a way to hopefully start reconnecting families with their pets.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Wow. Next thing you know, we have to microchip children. I mean, think about it.
Ourselves.
That's right. I mean, I'm going to be like, where's my son? I need a microchip on him. Actually, we almost do have that already, because it's called a cell phone. When you want to find them where they're at, you just find their cell phone.
Right.
But going back, I think that's so fascinating. And so, we have another caller. Before we get to that caller. And so, is there such a thing as, I'm just making it up. Okay, we're now going to do spading. Is it spading?
Spay and neuter.
Okay.
Spay or neuter.
Okay. Spay or neuter. We're going to be doing it at the park. Bring your dog. And there's like a mobile unit to do it. Is there such a thing?
Well, yeah. So SNAP, a Spay Neuter Assistance Program, they used to have a mobile unit and would go out to the community, but unfortunately the mobile unit would only allow you to do about 20 pets. For our program, and there's a wonderful group called Empty the Shelter Project that will do like a mash style where they'll have people line up, and they'll do it in this big gymnasium. They contract with veterinarians, and they get it done that day. For us, we do vouchers. So we have the community come out to, say, a community center or school, and we say, we're going to be providing free vouchers for a spay, neuter, vaccination, microchip for your pets. We sign them up. We send it to the veterinarian. They do the calling. They make the appointments.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. We had another caller already. Who was that? I didn't see who that was. Is there a Sarah? Is there a Sarah there?
Hi.
Sarah, you got me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip for me with Miss Gloria Zenteno. And we're talking about really just in general pet care. What do you got for us?
I was just wondering, like, how can volunteers get involved and help out? Like, how can the community get involved?
Oh,
That's a great. Is
wonderful.
there such a thing as I'm going to volunteer for Saturday?
Sunday.
Is it Sunday?
Yeah.
So what does that mean when you volunteer?
So we have several volunteer opportunities. And yes, Sarah, if you want to volunteer on Sunday, you just send an email to volunteers@barriodogs.org. We have a volunteer coordinator who happens to be a volunteer.
Wow.
She's amazing. And so we've gotten a really great team. So we are always looking for volunteers to help at our events, our school programs, our spay and neuter days, which we're having a big spring fix it. We do 2 times a year, a spring and a fall. So our spring fix it will be April 19th. It's a Saturday. So Sarah, if you want to get involved with that, please let us know. And I did mention early, our core programs. It's the pet education in schools. It's the spay and neuter efforts, and then our advocacy. We're not a rescue group, but unfortunately, because there's so many strays in the community, we feel like everybody should try to chip in. Everybody should be your own hero. And so we have taken in some dogs. We have a handful or more in boarding. So Sarah, if you ever want to volunteer to come out and visit our dogs or take them for a walk, we'd be happy.
So where do you keep all the dogs?
So we work with a boarding facility called Camp Bow Wow Houston Hobby, and we board there. And I know it's a costly expense, but we have to put them somewhere because we don't have fosters readily available right then. So it's a great option for getting them, up to snuff with all their vaccinations, and then getting them spayed and neutered and getting that chip in. And then we promote them and ask for a foster or adopter.
Holy cow. It is so. Here we go. How do I change my dog's chip information if I move? That's a question we have here on the internet. But before we do that, Ms. Sarah, so I want to make sure, was there any follow-up or anything else?
No, thank you for that information. I'll spread the word for sure. I'm definitely interested in getting involved.
Thank you, Sarah.
for everything.
How wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. So we have a text. We have lots of questions that come on. And this one is from Alfred. It says here, how do I change my dog's chip information if I move?
So there's petlink.net, and it's like a big database, and you should be able to do it there. But I would also reach out to your veterinarian, because there's unfortunately different microchip companies, and so they will tell you what microchip company that your dog or a cat are registered with.
But you don't have to take it out and get a new one.
No,
it's just about somehow
it's associated to a number.
Okay. Wow. So let's go back. So where do you see this whole thing going in the next? I mean, you're going to celebrate 15 years. What do you want to see happen over the next 15 years? And where's the end? I don't want to say end game, because that implies a game, but this is not a game. But where's the end goal?
So for Barrio Dogs, I definitely want to see us serving the community in a much bigger way. We were formerly all volunteers, but now I am the executive director and president for Barrio Dogs. We now have a youth and paws coordinator, and as I mentioned earlier, we have a volunteers coordinator. I just hired a community liaison that's going to help me work in the community and trying to get the word out. So I would like to see us serve the community in a much bigger way, that we really start to see some change. That we're in every school in the city of Houston, and maybe with Judas School in Humble.
Wow.
Really branching out.
And so let me ask you this. I mean, hold on. I think we have another caller coming already. Let's see who this person is. Give me 1 second there, Houston. We have another caller. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. In fact, as a reminder, to call in is 832-570-8075. Who do we got? Vicky?
Hey, it's me. It's me, Vicky Cruz.
Vicky Cruz, how are you? I'm here with Miss Gloria Zenteno. So what do you think about all this? I don't know if you've been hearing the show about Barrio Dogs and stray animals and what to do about it, but, what are your thoughts on all that, Vicky? Or do you have a question?
It really, truly breaks my heart. I'm so glad, Gloria, what you're doing. Thank you so much, because we need multiple of that all day, every day. They're out there. I mean, I just got back from the park. I saw 2.
Really?
And, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're just there's a lot of neglected dogs. And so I wanted to just ask, I'm sure you have resources for families when it comes to providing resources around neuteries, spaying or anything like that, medical care. Are you connected, or how does that work?
So I mentioned earlier that we do 2 big events a year, a spring fix it and a fall fix it. And we'll target in specific zip codes, primarily in the East End, but we're branching out with that as well. So where we'll be in the community, we'll provide a free voucher for your cat, your dog, all the animals in the family, just to get them done. So it also depends on funding. So it depends on, if we got a grant or if a council member is going to help sponsor, we'll expand that zip code range. So for the one in the spring, we haven't announced the zip codes, but that's coming up soon. So please send us an email, and hopefully we'll be in your zip code area.
Wonderful.
And what are some, Gloria, the long-term solutions to reduce the number of homeless animals or abandoned animals in the city?
And I'm going to dovetail that to my question also, but Dr. Cruz always has a way to put it out there. Where do we see this going in 15 years? I mean, number one, you want to expand, you said, but what's the solution? Obviously you got to have funding to reach any solution, but go ahead. Please answer.
I mean, the city of Houston is one of the largest, one of the wealthiest cities in the nation. And we should be able to address this issue. So we need to put more emphasis on the root problem. So more pet education, more free spay, neuter, vaccination, and microchipping so we can address the animal overpopulation issue. And the ordinances and the bills, people need to be held accountable for letting their animals run loose. I mean, people that own a pet, every single one of them should be spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and microchipped. And they need to know how important it is to keep their child in their home. So I feel like elevating the issue that the city is having is so important. We really haven't been talking about this problem for decades.
Is there, and Dr. Vicky, I'm just going to, if you don't mind, let's keep going, but I don't want you to hang up just yet if you don't mind. And do we have another caller though? I thought we have another call. Okay, we'll get to in 1 second. Is there such a thing in the country, any city that has an ordinance that says your pet must be spayed or neutered?
Not in Texas,
Okay.
unfortunately. So Texas is very backwards when it comes to that. But if you go to California or Colorado, their states are different about animals. They definitely, their animals are family, and they know the importance of this. So I think Texas just has a long way to go. And that's why it's so important for us to work on the advocacy level, work with our state representatives of helping in the bills and the ordinances. So.
Is there such a thing that your pet must be on a leash if it's outside the house?
So the city of Houston already has a leash law.
Is that right?
Yeah. So your animals should not be roaming the street. So when we do our free spay and neuter initiatives, we make sure we educate those pet owners as well. Did you know that there's a leash law?
I did not know, and I have 3 dogs. I did not know.
Yeah.
Dr. Vicky, I'm going to send it back to you to see what other comments you may have before we go to the next call.
No, I agree with you with totally like having some policy or changes for the inner city, such as ours. But let me ask you this, just out of curiosity, do you see more cats also out there? What's the ratio between cat and dog?
Interesting.
There's a lot of cats, and there's a lot of feral cats. And we have a TNR.
What's a feral?
Feral cat is a cat that's unapproachable, that you would have to trap it.
Oh,
And
no kidding.
So we have a partnership with East End Kitties, and we do trap, neuter, and return. Actually, Councilmember Castillo, this is a big problem in his community. And the reason that he actually gave us some financial support to do some TNR in his district is because people are being vocal about it. And that's how you get it done. You know, these policies, they're not going to make changes until we become more vocal about it.
Wonderful. Dr. Vicky, thank you for calling in, and hopefully you'll call in again.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thanks.
We have another caller. Who's that again? Savir? I hope I'm saying it correctly. Savir, are you there? Savir? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, barely. Speak up just a tad. You got me, Gilbert Garcia, tip for me with Ms. Gloria Zenteno. What do you have for us today?
Yes. Yeah, I was listening to your topic today, and it's my favorite topic. I have a kid. She's about 2-year-old. I needed to get the neutered, and the problem is this, that I haven't had enough money. I had called a few different veterinarians, but they were asking so much money to get the neuter done. Is there any place that we can get it done with no cost?
So where do you live?
I live in Fort Bend County. It's in Sugar Land.
Fort Bend. So have you tried Fort Bend Pets Alive?
No, actually not. I haven't.
Yeah, I would try them for sure. And if they're not helpful, please send us an email, because we have a lot of contacts. You can send an email directly to me at gloria@barriodogs.org, and we'll try to find somebody.
And that's BARRIODOGS.org.
You're right.
Gloria,
It's very expensive, and that's a big,
How much is it?
well, there's veterinarians. Do you mind me asking how much they were going to charge you for your cat?
$200.
Wow.
Yeah, and for a cat,
And that's just to spade or neuter.
yeah,
That's not the microchip
vaccine,
and the
yeah.
vaccinations and
No,
everything.
that's not the microchip. I had a got one time. I have 2 kids. My older one, he is about I would say about 7-year-old, and this younger one, Nala, she is about 2-year-old only. And the older one, we had issues when we were living in the previous house, and then I think the county people, they came and they just gave us an appointment, and they got it, and we got the chip on that one, and they neutered it free. But right now, when I'm trying to contact different people, everybody's keep asking a lot of money for that one. I'm honestly cannot afford it.
There's even veterinarians that'll charge, up to $500
Wow.
just for,
Well, go back. What's the name of the organization again?
Fort Bend Pets Alive. Yeah.
You said Fort
You
Bend Pets Alive?
You said you live in Fort Bend, so there is a Fort
Yes, ma'am.
Bend Pets Alive.
You said Fort Pets Pets Alive, LOTE?
Alive.
Alive. ALIVE.
Pets Alive.
Yes.
Fort Bend Pets Alive?
Yes.
Okay. And your email, you said Gloria, GLORIA?
Correct.
And what's the next?
At BARRIODOGS.org.
Okay. I'll try to email you before even I try to go to Fort Bend Live Pet Lives, and then I get little directions from you to how to do that one, because I really needed to get it done, because sometimes
Good for
at
you.
the middle of the month when she gets the time for that one, she cries a lot at the whole house for at least a week continuously. So somebody told me that once you get neutered, then she's gonna calm down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, no, and they go into heat, and that's another thing. It prevents them from going into heat, and you it's so important. A spay and neuter is very important.
Wow. Thank you for calling. Do you have anything else you want to share with us?
No, thank you very much, Mr. Gilbert. I always listen to your show. I mean, it's amazing.
Well,
But this time it was my favorite topic, so I thought that it's better to give you a call and talk to you.
well, you call in anytime, and thank you for those kind words.
No problem, Mr. Gilbert.
Have a great.
Have a nice day.
Yes.
I really appreciate your help.
Amen. Thank you for calling, and call again. I'm going to move to. We have another caller, I think, here. Is there another caller there?
Yes,
Who was that?
Jesse.
Jesse. Jesse, are you there? Jesse, are you there? Jesse. Jesse's girl. Da, 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 da. Oh, I lost Jesse. Did we lose Jesse? He hung up. Okay. Jesse, if you're there, call us back, because we wish we had Jesse's girl. For those of you who don't know that song, come on, we've got a music family here.
That's right.
Is he calling back? Is he calling back? Okay. So going back, these are some interesting callers, because they brought up a lot of issues that for someone like me, I didn't even know some of these things. Number one, I didn't even know the cost. Now, we had it done to all three of our dogs, but I don't remember. And so I don't remember the cost or anything. I just don't remember.
It's expensive.
Yes. And I don't think we have them chipped. Now, I may be wrong. Jesse, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Gilbert, I'm here.
Jesse, what do you got? I've got Gloria here. How are you, my friend?
I'm too blessed to be stressed, Gilbert, and I'm watching you live on YouTube.
Oh, my God. Well, do I have a bad hair day?
No, you're looking good, brother.
Oh,
Nice
good.
and shiny.
Nice and shiny. I need to do my hair and makeup to get some of those shine out. Jumpin' Jess, how are you? What do you got for us today?
No, I just want to call him and tell if you can ask Gloria about the event on Sunday. It's a really great event. It's in the East End, but it's a little hidden away at Bohemios, and I know it's a great event open for the public. And I just want to hear a little bit more about it, and a time and a date and an address.
Let's do it again.
Thank you.
And I've been, right? I've been.
Yeah.
And it's a blast. It's a real good thing, Houston, to just take your family, if you have kids, because it's a lot of warm, friendly people, because pet people somehow are just so warm and friendly. They just are, because they just know how to give and love and get love. It's a wonderful event. So tell us again.
Thank you, Jesse, so much for calling in. So yes, it's Sunday, March 23rd. It's our 15th.
Oh, now we have it. We have it for everyone to see.
Yay.
Go for it.
It's our 15th anniversary. It's Sunday, March 23rd. It starts off at 10 a.m. with a Pedal for Paws ride through the community. It's a beautiful way to see the community, a lot of hidden gems in the East End. And then afterwards, there's a big celebration. It's from noon to 5. There's going to be live music, a pet contest, wonderful food. We're going to have raffles and all kinds of shopping that you can do. And you're right. It's a lot of people from the community that have their pets. These are all wonderful, caring, good people. So I hope that everybody can come out.
Wonderful, wonderful. What say you there, Jess?
Oh no, this is a great event. We'll definitely be there, and also I have my son DJing
That's
out there,
right.
so I want to see.
That's right. So along with the Zenteno Spirit, there's some other entertainers. We're going to have the Segundo Barrio Children's Chorus perform.
Wow.
But Jesse's son is an amazing DJ, and not only will he be the DJ, but he's going to be kind of emceeing the contest.
No way. It's like a chip off the old block there that he's a DJ. Oh,
He's
my
great.
gosh.
He's great.
Wow. Well, Jumpin' Jess, we thank you, brother. Thank you for calling in. I'm giving you a hug right now.
Thank you, Gilbert, for everything you do.
Thank you,
God
my
bless
friend.
you.
And to you. Super good. So going back, so we've got about 4 minutes. I am going to give you the last word, and I want you to look at Houston and tell them whatever you want to tell them about anything. We don't have another caller, right? Okay, good. We're at a good zone. But going back for a second, what got you to do all this? I mean, because this has been a huge, this has been a huge thing, and for a long time you were just volunteering, right?
Right.
And what does it cost to operate the whole organization? What do you need as a budget to do things? Of course, this is just a bare bone budget because you're not doing all the things you want to do.
That's right. No, we definitely need, I think the most expensive program is our spay and neuter, all the vet costs. That's really the most expensive, but it costs a lot. It costs a lot to do all this work.
So if you're doing roughly 700, what does all that cost for that program?
So each pet can approximately, and again, depends on size.
Yeah.
So each pet, cat, dog, it could run between $100 and $150 per pet. Now that's a small cat or dog.
Wow.
And the reason that sounds like a lot, but it's not, because it's the spay, neuter, vaccination, microchip, and also these animals come in, maybe this is their first vet visit ever.
Oh my goodness.
And they might have fleas or they might have an ear infection.
But that's like almost $100,000.
It is.
That's real money.
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Houston, please give.
Thank you.
And give me the whole thing. How can they give again?
They can give us at our website, barriodogs.org, and we have a donate tab, and you can go there, and there's always different ways you can donate, either mail as a check, or we do PayPal, Venmo, credit card. Everything's there.
All right. Well, here we go, because you ready for this?
Yes.
It's already been an hour.
My goodness.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
You probably thought, God, what am I going to talk to Gilbert about for an hour? And by the way, I am Houston, just so you know, we're going to have, I think, Christian Menifee soon. I've already talked to him today because, he announced, he's the first one that I know of that announced for the incredible Sheila Jackson Lee's position for Congress. Of course, that Sylvester Turner had for just a very short time. So we're going to have him to talk about what his view is for that district. But going back, what do you want to say to Houston right there at your camera? You got about a minute and a half. Let it all hang out.
Thank you, Gilbert, for the opportunity. And what I would like to share is that please get to know Barrio Dogs. Most people think that we're a rescue group, but our core work is pet education in schools, spay and neuter for people that can't afford it, to address the animal overpopulation. And we're working with the policymakers to address the ordinances and the bills to improve our animal welfare in the community. And we appreciate your funding. We have a Pedal for Paws in our 15th anniversary this Sunday, March 23rd. I'm still looking for sponsors, so I appreciate that. And last, even though I said we're not rescue, we do help with some of the strays in our community. So we got some dogs in boarding. So we appreciate any kind of donation that you can support our organization.
It's a great cause. You know why? Because these animals, they're like people. They have feelings.
They're our family.
Yes. They're we all love pets. I just know it because I know we have 3 dogs, and all they do is yap. But you know what? I love them. I love when they yap. We got Zoe, and Zoe's like the favorite of all my kids. And then we have Lolly, and that's the little Lolly's only 3 pounds.
Oh my God.
I know. And Zoe's all of 5. And Max is the big one. He's all of 7 pounds. I know, right? When I have them all, they're all like this. They're not even like a baby, they're like a baby. Oh, but my kids love them. It's been the greatest time for my kids. So Houston, I think we're really going to be out of time. So let me just say this, Houston, please support Barrio Dogs. They're doing great stuff. It's for all of us. It's for the community. Have a heart, go to the event, be there, And we'll see you next time. This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ, 1360 AM, and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1380 AM on San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM and Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.